Welcome to Fresh Music Freaks, your online source for upfront music and industry news, music festival, and in-depth interviews. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Freak Show. I'm a freak. Are you?
Hi guys, this is Brittany with Fresh Music Freaks. I had the opportunity to sit down with Dave Dresden of Gabriel and Dresden, but I forgot to hit record on the first 3 questions, so the interview kind of starts abruptly, but please enjoy. Thank you. All these things, and everyone talks about how you're finding tracks no one else is finding. I see all these DJs just kind of salivating over all this music you're able to find. So is it through that app?
I mean, some of it is. I'll say that like one of my super talents in music is my ability to pick music. It's funny, like half the time Josh sends me these tracks and I'm going to buy them on Beatport. It's like, sorry, you've already bought this song. So, I mean, I'm a really good picker too. And that was really, that's always been my talent in Gabriel and Dresden, using my A&R skills to determine many things about a song. So, and I have an amazing collection of music spanning 30 years. So I've been able to slowly go through all that and find the gems.
How many Club Quarantine? Oh, sorry, go on.
I try to do it a little each week so that I have more music to utilize next week.
Well, I feel like Club Quarantine I've been getting a history lesson because I don't think I've ever heard the same track played twice. And if it is, it's a remix of a different version. So I've been very impressed.
I'm trying to add at least 100 to 200 new songs every week for all the different things.
Yeah.
In order to do 25 hours of programming. So it's really fun because I've actually always dreamed to play these kinds of sets, and have people listen. I used to practice in my house all the time and mix weird shit together. And then I would give it out to people on You Send It links back in the day. Check out my practice session. And but they never were broadcasted, and I didn't get to feel the energy of what people liked and what they didn't like. And this is the first time I've actually ever been able to DJ these long types of sets and get feedback. And so it's sort of I've always dreamed of doing this.
Do you think you're going to miss it if things go back to normal?
Well, I think that streaming is here to stay. To what degree it will be, remains to be seen. Yeah. I'd say, if I'm making a huge amount of money streaming, I think that it would probably be crazy for me to tour as much, because it's actually way easier to do these streams than it is to go on an airplane and fly around the world and play shows. That really tears your body apart.
It probably tears you apart mentally a little bit too, being away so much. I would think.
Yeah, it's not good for you.
Yeah.
Usually, it takes a few days to recover just from an average touring weekend. So, but then again, it takes a couple of days to recover from an average Club Quarantine weekend too. So, but it's just, I think that it's a little bit less dangerous on the body from not traveling.
Yeah.
And having my kitchen right next door, so I can get a snack if I'm hungry while I'm doing.
You actually encouraged me to eat healthier because I always see you eating these healthy snacks. I'm like, all right, I guess I could use this pandemic to get in shape.
Well, I'm honestly really trying to eat healthy because I want to lessen the chances of any complications if I get COVID.
Yeah.
So, but I normally eat pretty healthy, but I've been really mindful of trying to stay away from sweets and carbs and things like that, which aren't good for me and my energy.
How many Club Quarantines have there been so far?
I think that tonight will be the 50th one.
Ooh, okay. I remember watching the first one and thinking all right, this is great. And then it was for the first couple weeks, it wasn't even just 3 times a week, right? You were doing it almost every day.
It was every day for the first 14 days.
Yeah.
Josh was like, I think you can you've done 2 weeks. You can take tonight off. You know what? It was so weird. After doing that streak, I felt empty, not streaming.
I stumbled on one of your older articles where you talk about Charlotte. and how she used to cry when you played your own music. But clearly that has changed. She's part of Club Quarantine. Has this been a bonding experience for you two? Has it helped you as a parent kind of share your music with her?
Yes. Well, I really enjoyed doing the 2 shows with her, but I've decided that I don't really want to publicize her face so much. So it's like, so I actually, my ex-wife and I have decided, like, that she's gonna be there when I'm broadcasting, so I don't have to feel like the obligated to put her on the show or not,
Yeah. But she still gets to be a part of it. She gets to see her dad doing something, exciting.
She actually takes a huge role in, decorating the DJ booth, and I think she actually kind of misses the whole broadcasting thing because it was really fun for her.
Yeah.
And I'm an idiot. I didn't download those shows and they're gone now. So.
Did anybody get them?
I think, what? I think Izzy probably got a copy of them. I'm gonna ask him because I mean, what I loved about it was there was no plan. There was like, I'm like, do you want to watch Daddy DJ tonight? Yeah, I'd love to watch Daddy DJ tonight. But I had no like plan or whether or not it was going to work or if she was going to freak out, or how she was going to take it. But she really dug it. And with one of those broadcasts, she actually was singing the lyrics to one of our songs. The one that she really loved when we were making it. And it was really sweet. That was actually the peak moment for me, was when I had left the booth to go get a snack, and I came back and there she was dancing and singing the words to the song.
What song was it?
Remember.
Yeah. Awesome. So I keep thinking about the album name Remedy and how it kind of seems aptly named for, you guys couldn't have known what was going to happen. But has it taken on, right? But has it taken on new meaning for you now? Because I know I see so many people in the Facebook group just saying that you've helped them through this mentally, even that they might not have been able to get through this without these club quarantines.
I mean, I think that Remedy is something that we try to put out there beyond naming an album. We want to be, we want to make people feel good and inspire people with music and positivity. So
we need more of it.
Yes. And, I mean, it was, you can't get any more lucky than naming an album Remedy when a huge global pandemic. I mean, we haven't really capitalized or tried to capitalize on that just because it seems cheap.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's there. And like, hopefully people find that meaning in the songs that we intended for.
So given how drastically the world has changed in the last few months, you said you think live streaming is here to stay, but do you think it's going to become even more prevalent? Do you think maybe people might be too scared to go to clubs or scared to go to festivals in the future, that this is going to become the next major platform?
I mean, who knows? I mean, like, it just, the thing is that it's a big question mark. Like, when will it be safe to go out? I mean, I think that these protests are really going to tell a story about how much going out there, even with a mask on, is safe. And I think from that we're going to learn a little bit about what we can do to minimize the risk moving forward. And I just personally feel, and I felt basically since the quarantine started, that this isn't going to end for live music until everybody is gets the vaccine.
Yeah. So do you think the Remedy tour then will still happen, or do you think that's?
I mean, honestly, it just depends on when that when it's safe to go back. I'd probably say no. It probably won't be the Remedy tour. It'll probably be some sort of club quarantine tour. But it just, we don't know. We have some shows booked. All the shows that were canceled have been rescheduled. But, we're not promoting it until it seems right.
Because no one really knows.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, I don't, what I don't want? I don't want to put promoters in a position where they're going to have to refund money again.
Yeah.
And I think that there's sort of, in some towns, they can't book shows until the quarantine is lifted. Like LA can't like even talk about dates yet.
I think DC, I'm in DC. I think we're about the same way, that we're just, because we can't even go out to clubs again until there is a vaccine. So we're just kind of waiting. Right. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. It's a big wait, and like, you know, I'm really happy that somehow or another I've found a way to maintain a connection with the people that like our music. I'm glad, you know, like 10 years ago we couldn't have done this shit, or you know,
Why is
to
that?
the quality we are
You just don't think
now.
to the quality, just technology, or you always had the audience, right? It was just kind of getting them all in one place.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think the idea of live streaming was, you know, was really there yet, and or the ability to connect your mixer to your computer.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was, I don't know, but like that, you know, there weren't all these platforms to do it. There was like Ustream, which basically I think took computer audio, you know, as a, you know, your mic in. Um, but you know, it wasn't until Facebook and Twitch that really live streaming, I think, really became the norm. And it's, I mean, we're very lucky to have live streaming, you know, as musicians, because you know, there's a lot of us that would be in really, you know, serious trouble right now.
There's a lot of fans that would be, I think, too, just because of how much we rely on this, you know, for a mental health remedy. Yeah.
And honestly, it's just, I think it's strengthened the fan artist relationship. There's something very personal about being in somebody's home, I think, that makes you feel connected to you. And then the chat rooms, you know, I never in a million years like thought about how, you know, having people be able to chat while you're playing, you know, was helping to build a community. I think the chat is a huge function of streaming.
So you and Josh, switching gears a little bit from Club Quarantine, you and Josh have been around the scene for a very long time. What do you miss about the old days? And what, if anything, do you think has gotten better?
Well, I mean, production of music has gotten way better. Like, I mean, I've been playing all the classics on the weekends, and sonically, they're just not as good as today's music. They don't pound as good. They don't have the bass as good. But what I do miss about the older music is the realness of it. Like all the early trance records were made on real synthesizers with real compressors and real reverbs and real analog gear. And it has a sound quality that makes it sound richer. And I miss that. But, you know, conversely, the sonic quality wasn't there. So
it's trade-off.
I think that's, you know, a thing that today's music has. I also think that digital distribution is just way better. I mean, the fact that we have all this music at our disposal means that everybody has a chance to be heard. And that wasn't the case 15 years ago, really.
So who are some artists who have inspired you throughout your career?
Sasha and John Digweed, Pete Tong, Paul Oakenfold, Tiesto, Dave Seaman, Hybrid, who else? The Chemical Brothers, Daft Punk, Deadmau5, Kolsch, who else? Slacker, R.I.P. I don't know. There's
I think that's we have a good list.
Okay.
What about newer artists? Who are some newer people that you're just, or even not necessarily newer, but someone you're digging right now that maybe wasn't in the classic era?
I don't know. That's hard. It's hard. There's just so much music going on right now.
There is.
It's been about 10 to 15 years since I've handled music in the way that I'm handling it now. Like track hunting. These are things that I used to do. Like I used to call up producers, yo, you got any new shit? And stuff like that. And now I'm doing that again. And like I'm actually opening promo emails and things that I just didn't do. I sort of like a few years ago, the promo emails got so overwhelming that I just made like a blanket decision to ignore them and only play the music that I found on Beatport. But now that like I have a reason to listen to everything, I've been opening promo emails a lot more. And yeah, like I said, reaching out to producers to get new shit.
That's
Because
exciting,
I think that helps. That also helps make your stream get better.
Yeah.
Having exclusive material.
And new material. I mean, again, like a lot of these tracks, I have to either wait till the list comes out or it's new to me. So it's been really exciting.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, there's about 5 different talents that I haven't really used in a long time going on right now.
It's exciting. All right, so two-part question, but they're kind of the same question. So what is your favorite Gabriel and Dresden original creation? And if it's separate, what is the one that holds the most emotion for you personally?
I mean, like I always feel that the answer to this question is Beautiful Things.
Yeah.
Which technically is a remix, but there is no original version. So it's the Gabriel and Dresden remix,
Yeah.
but I consider that an original production. And there's just no other track like it. And there hasn't been a track since it, and there wasn't one before it either that was quite like it. And I mean, it's a great song. It is always poignant. Anybody can relate to it.
Yeah.
It sounds amazing. It's got like, bass guitars in it and a nice big loud thumpy kick. It's just, I don't know. Martians made it. It wasn't me. I didn't fucking have that record. Must have been a Martian for that week that we made it.
Oh, that's funny. So some trance music is starting to sound a lot like old techno music, and new techno music is starting to sound a lot like old trance music. Where do you see these genres heading? And there seems to be a lot of blending going on. But do you think that eventually it's just all going to be one thing?
You know what? The history of techno actually involves trance all along the way, or at least since 1991. So it's sort of like, I think people went back to the 90s and listened to the techno music and was like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Like a guy like Oliver Lee, who's now a well-known techno producer, who used to make these trance techno crossover tracks that like, were, as hard as techno and as beautiful as trance. And I think people went back and, a lot of these DJs have also been supporting, playing these classics in their sets. So I think people want to hear melody. They want to, like, even if, you played 45 minutes of banging pots and pans, you want to bring it around with something that, like, captures people's imagination. And I think that that's a universal club feeling, no matter how underground.
Yeah.
I mean, people call it progressive house. People call it, progressive trance. They call it minimal techno. They call it melodic techno. I call it trance. It's all fucking trance. All of it.
What is it? You said something the other night. I think it was trance isn't a tempo, it's a state of mind. Something to that. Yeah. I thought it was brilliant. I loved that.
I've been saying that for years, so.
So when you guys go and you start working on an album, do you have a process, or is it just kind of creative chaos? Is it just you see where it goes?
Well, each album has been different.
Yeah.
Like the first one, was a different sort of circumstances, which yielded a different result. And then the second album was sort of like we had a plan A and a plan B. And the plan A didn't work out, so we went with the plan B, which was working with Subtil.
Yeah.
And it developed into a whole thing that carried over into this new record. I think even more. I mean, I think that she was ready and she delivered, first with her voice and then with her songs. And I think I think that there's a large future in us working with her again. I think that she's we've been looking for the perfect voice for Gabriel and Dresden for many years, and I think that Jan Burton might be that on the male vocal side.
Yeah.
And we've experimented with like a lot of different singers on the female side, but none that we could call our own. A lot of these singers would go out and work with a lot of other people, and they weren't really ours. And so Brittany is sort of that voice that we've been looking for all these years. She's got a little bit of goth in it. She's a little bit of androgynous, and she's, she sings, but she can also hit the high notes and sing beautifully and ethereal. And she's, I think she just keeps getting better. And so I think that we're going to be working with her for a long time to come.
Awesome. So some of my most emotionally driven moments have taken place with Gabriel and Dresden playing in the background. How does it make you feel to know that you are touching so many people on such a personal level? Because music is, I think, one of the most personal things you can do.
You know what? I felt for many years that we weren't doing that. And it feels nice to be doing that again. I think that, joining the Anjuna family with The Only Road was a great step in the right direction of putting us in the faces of people that would like our music. We've worked with other labels before that didn't quite understand what we were doing, or they didn't necessarily support our vision. And Anjuna Beats has supported our vision, have never questioned us once, and they've done a great job of delivering the music. So I think it's really nice, and it feels great to make an impact again.
Yeah. So this is my last question for you. So our world is a little broken right now. So yes, what role is music playing? A little bit, right? What role is music playing, and what can artists like yourself do to kind of help bridge this gap?
I think that it really depends on the artist. I mean, the music is there for people to hear. And it just depends on what the artist is saying and what people are looking for. Music is, has the power to connect and unite people. And I think that's what we're seeing with these streams, is that people want to be connected and they want to be united right now. And there's also a few distractions. I mean, there's never been a time that I haven't competed with sports.
That's a good point.
It's like, I used to before I was famous, I used to DJ in local clubs in Connecticut. And whenever there was a major sporting event, the club was going to be empty. Like a boxing match, it would be empty until the boxing match was over. And like the Super Bowl, there nobody would come that night, or whenever, the hockey playoffs were happening, attendance was down. Yeah. And for the first time ever, there's no sports being played in the world right now. And so I think people are starving for entertainment, and music is serving that, and connection through the streaming world is serving that.
Is there anything else you want to add? Anything else you want to say?
I hope that things get better for the world soon. I hope things get better for the world soon.
Well, we're going to take a week off from publishing anything in honor of the protest. So we're not going to have anything of this written up until the 15th, just to give you a heads up. We want to make sure we're pausing everything.
That was brought to my attention.
Perfect. Okay, great.
I felt a little weird posting about something non-protest related today, but I mean, I don't think it's our role to get into this conversation. Mm-hmm. I mean, we can support it, definitely. And I support the peaceful protesting and I mean, you have to be an awful human to not think that what happened to that man was terrible. I mean, it was just terrible. And what has happened to so many before him is terrible. And, these people need to be held accountable.
Absolutely.
And I think that the peaceful protests are going to do that. I've been saying for a long time that people, if they wanted to enact change, they got to take to the streets.
Yeah.
And so I just hope that we can continue to protest, not get sick, and invoke change.
Yeah. Well, thank you. This has been such an honor for me. You have helped me get through quarantine, so thank you on multiple levels.
What's your chat name?
I think it's Brit the Wit, but I think there's underscores. So I don't know. I made it so long ago. I'm talking about Twitch, right? I think it's Brit underscore the Wit. Yeah.
Okay, Brit the Wit. I used to be Dave the Wave, so.
Hey, you get it then.
Yes, I do.
Well, thank you, and I will see you, I guess, in a few hours for Club Quarantine.
Yes, 2 hours and 54 minutes until
we'll get
showtime.
some rest, eat something healthy, and thank you so much.
Getting my set together.
Yes, I love it. You're missing the stuffed animals.
Yeah, I need some stuffed animals. Charlotte didn't work on it this week because I didn't do a show on Tuesday.
That's right. So, yeah, that makes sense.
So usually she starts dressing her animals up for me. Actually, I have a whole backlog of her like stuffed animals that are dressed up.
So in like dresses? They're dressed in dresses or like little clothes?
She puts them in her dresses that don't fit her anymore.
That's cute.
And, like she puts bows in their hair and in their head and whatever. So, or like, for example, this guy right here.
I love it. Sunglasses are adorable.
Some sunglasses on. It's funny, she likes the sunglasses and she has no idea what it means, That, like the stuffed animal is taking ecstasy.
I was going to say, I'm like, I don't think I know what you're trying to say, but that makes more sense.
Well, when you go to like a rave and people are wearing sunglasses at night or sunglasses, period, it usually means that they're high on
Their
drugs.
eyeballs are huge because they're rolling. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So Pusheen is rolling. So, yes.
That's awesome.
And then a bunch of her other stuffed animals have like massive pupils. So it's like pretty funny to see them on set with the massive pupils.
Because it fits so perfectly.
Yes, it fits so perfectly. And it was like not intended to do that. But, when you hear dance music and see their pupils, it looks just like you're at a rave.
like a real club. Yeah.
It's like a real club. All right, cool. Well, I will see you, Britt the Wit.
Yes. Thank you so much. Have a good night. I'll see you in a few hours.
All right, cheers.
Bye.